That is most of the plot, but what was the evil scheme that was motivating the bad guys? For that we have to decide how our film will look. I foresee two options. The first is to present London like in Notting Hill or Love Actually. Everyone is white, including the extras. Everyone is slim, good-looking, well-dressed. The streets are clean, it is sunny, and there is not much traffic. You watch this film and you relax. It is escapism. Alternatively, we could go the other way. Most people, maybe everyone except Bond, is non-white. London is crowded, dirty, vulgar, a sort of Children of Men London. It could be India, Brazil, or some other Kalergi city, but for Big Ben, Westminster, etc., reminding us that it is London. This is a really in-your-face challenge to civic nationalists. England with no Englanders. We can be a bit more subtle with this one if we choose. Assuming a lily-white London, what is the baddies' gripe? Their gripe is the competency crisis. The safe house theft, the failed felony car stop, the ex-service cars, the inability to quickly assault the baddies' lair, and the scrappiness of the assault when it did start. All incompetence. Our baddie realizes that eventually a terrorist will outsmart His Majesty's Secret Service, police, army, the lot. It would be 7-7 on steroids. No, better to do a controlled explosion now, and force the powers that be to review how this could happen and get their act together. The plan was to blow up some buildings and monuments, the Angel of the North, HMS Victory, etc., leave a permanent wound in the history of Britain, just how Manhattan's skyline is still scarred from the missing Twin Towers. There was a world in which those towers stood, and when they fell, they took that world down with them. So too for this plot. In the monologue, the villain explains that even if Bond succeeds at stopping him, they win. If Bond kills his enemies, they win. It was they who tipped off MI5 about the safe house theft in the first place. More competency crisis. They would never have found out on their own. Even if the plot fails, all the right people will know how close it came, and they will quietly put things right. Here the competency crisis is just a thing that is. If we go for Kalergi London instead, then the competency crisis is due to diversity quotas. The effect is the same. Or we could say that the security apparatus is incompetent thanks to political interference. Too many top people siphoned off to monitor tweets or infiltrate the far right, leaving the dull masses left to actually defend the realm. Key personnel at diversity seminars and not available to coordinate the felony car stop or the SAS assault. Or that the internal priorities of the security apparatus is not to protect Britain or the British people from enemies, but to protect the British state from the British people. This can all come across in dialogue. Bond is informed that MI6 can't get through to this or that high-ranking policeman or soldier since he is at a diversity seminar in Kalergi, London. Or the plot is not worthy to bring to his attention, so we're stuck with some low-level guy for now. That's if the state apparatus is protecting the state rather than the people. Or nobody knows where he is. The lily-white incompetence. Of course, in the movies they say, show, don't tell. We can show the incompetence. In MI6, police, army, the low-level guys can be aged 20 to 60, but all the managers, officers, etc. can be very young. Baby-faced actors can play them. Straight away, it will look wrong to the audience. How are such senior people so young? Or it could be that the low level is white and the managers all non-white and young. The police liaison girl can be much too young for her role, etc. When Bond calls in the team that set up the felony car stop, we can see that they are all young and a mix of men and women, are all young and Kalergi people, and then he swaps them out, and we cut to the competent team, all men, all white, all at least 35 years old. The actors should all look older than they are, like they've got life experience. Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, Ed Harris types. Mean sons of bitches. During the assault on the baddies' compound, you could have it that the baddies are typically older and more skilled than the goodies. Better tactics, better organized. The goodies fall right into their traps. Luckily, Bond personally tips the balance. The baddies could also be white, while the goodies are ethnically diverse if we do Kalergi Britain. We can end the film with a hint at a sequel by revealing that M is friends with the chief villain, or was, and hint that there are more plots afoot that have yet to be detected, and that M is in on them. He's waiting to see if things change thanks to the current plot. The supervillain in his monologue can say to Bond that the security services are rapidly getting too incompetent to secure Britain. Only individual, hyper-competent men, possibly emphasize white men in Calergy Britain, like Bond, redeem the situation, but they are a dying breed. Sure, Bond chased down their man, but how many other agents would have done so? How many others have the skill to do a car chase these days? Some of them can't even drive. So that's the film. We get our Bond tropes for the fans, the casino, the cars, Q branch, etc. We get a plot, we get a bad guy with motivation, and the film can be relevant to today. Different Bond films try to be relevant to their days. Nuclear bombs in Goldfinger and Thunderball, satellite launches in Dr. No, drugs in Live and Let Die, water aquifers in Quantum of Solace, news media in Tomorrow Never Dies. Here we have the competency crisis or anti-whiteism. But does Bond sympathize with the baddie? Maybe, but we don't need to know. Bond is a professional and will serve His Majesty's Secret Service. His personal views will not distract him from his assignments. He will remain Bond, unhesitating, unflinching, unruffled, never shaken or stirred, laser-focused, uncompromising. James Bond will return.